What's going on, people? Welcome to the current conversation. Thank you all for joining us. I appreciate you guys taking the time out to join us and just kind of sharing what we're doing here. Let me give you a little bit of insight about the show while we wait for more folks to try to join in. The show technically starts at 8 o'clock. So, the point of this show right now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to give a platform for folks that are watching the show to actually join in, not just me and my guests speaking and talking your ear off. It's more so a place for the viewers to join in, talk with us, share their insights, questions, things like that. And it's more of a community thing. And so we want to make sure that we, get the word out to folks, let them know, hey, this is what we're doing. And we're here to answer all kinds of questions. My guest today is a very accomplished human being. He is an author. He is a musician. He's an entrepreneur, had several businesses. He's a husband, a father, just a guy I respect quite highly. And he's going to share some of his insight with us today. And we want for you guys to join in and ask questions as you see fit. And if you want to join and get on camera, it's really easy. All you got to do is go over to our Patreon account, right? Sign up right here. You see this here? Just sign up right there. Add your information in and register on patreon.com/the current conversation. That's going to give you access so that you can get the link to join in with your camera and ask questions live on our show here. And we're going to try our best to do what we can to answer those questions. So we want to hear your feedback. We want to get you guys a part of the show because the show is really centered around the community. And so we really just want to make that available to you. So send a text out. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors that the current conversation is about to begin, and it's going to be a great show. So without further ado, let's get the show started. What do you say? All right, folks. Well, thank you for that. So it looks like my guest is having a little technical difficulty. I don't see his camera right now. I want to bring him in. I think something's happening on his end. But while we wait for him, again, if you guys wanted to join in to the show, this is the link that you want to go to, sign up and register. And we're looking forward to hearing from you guys, hearing your questions and your feedback. And we're suffering some technical difficulties right now. I'm having trouble seeing my guest host. But in the meantime, let me check out the comments. I don't know if anybody's made any comments or anything. We open up the show a little early so that chat can begin. And as the show progresses, this is our first show, by the way. If you happen to just be catching us off of Facebook or whatever, this is our very first show. But as the show progresses, we hope that folks will kind of get on beforehand and get into the chat there and start having the questions coming in. After the show, we're also going to continue the conversation on our Discord. So if we find that we run out of time and you still got questions or things that we're talking about, it's a nice conversation. We want to continue that on our Discord, and you'll be able to get into that right here by joining up with us on Patreon. And so, yeah, that's going to be available to you. So I see that my guest host has gotten everything together. I'm going to go ahead and bring him in. Again, this guy has done so many things. He's an author, entrepreneur, musician. He's the creator of Can't Fit Worldwide. He took youth and had them in a summer camp and turned it into a reality show that lasted 7 seasons, ladies and gentlemen. That's quite a feat. But I'm going to let him tell you more about himself. We bring him on right now. None other than Mr. Rob Howze. Mr. Rob Howze, thank you, sir, for joining us. Can you hear me all right?
What's up? I can hear you loud, clear. How do I sound?
Yes, sir.
How do I sound good?
Difficulty, but we got you now.
Okay, cool. Thanks for having me on, brother.
Well, brother. And good to see your face, man. Thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it, taking the time out. So
Man, it's always a joy,
I was
man.
telling the folks a little bit about some of your background and things that you've been doing, but I want you to kind of elaborate. I know you got some new stuff down the pipeline right now. So, we've done the Can't Fit thing where we helped out youth and taught them for the summer how to get healthy. And you coined the phrase "healthy is the new wealthy." I love that. Wrote several books, and you got all kinds of stuff that you've gone through and done. But tell us, what are you doing right now? What's kind of some of the expertise that you're handling right now?
Well, on the business side, my partners and I, we're really helping businesses learn how to streamline what they're doing, learn how to do more with less. The driving technology is something called RPA, which is robotic process automation, but it's just a long word for automating things that are redundant. So
Mm,
anytime someone's doing repetitive behavior, which doesn't take any mind power, it actually begins to drain the well-being of the person. So what we decided, what humanity has decided, to let robots do robotic stuff and let humans do human stuff. So from on that aspect, helping businesses thrive, but then it's always about the person. 'Cause even in that business process, it's the people, the process, and then the technology. So we take care of the people first, and you know I'm all about the people, man. I'm talking about mind, body, and spirit. So my whole life has been really dedicated to understanding these three areas, these three,
yeah.
and then creating some type of initiative, program, project within it to actually actualize, you know, um, actualize the benefit from, optimizing your mind, body, and spirit. So,
Okay.
so it's not just about talking about it, but more about putting it into practice. So I'm kind of giving you a lot, man. But my whole life has really been based and built around, strengthening those three areas. And now in this season, 2020, man, holy moly, kicked off with Kobe Bryant dying, and it just got crazy. And businesses began to drop. I mean, I heard a stat like 40% of the African American businesses have been hit. I mean, that's a lot. That's half. And then, of course, the statistics for the world. So, you know, I feel like God has positioned us in what we're doing to not just be something that can help companies win, but actually survive because
Hmm.
folks are not. So that's the business side. On the everyday side, it's really just I'm an empowerment artist. So if you follow my content at all, any of my videos or music, it's all about empowering people. And empowering is like if somebody wants to be in addiction, they have the strength. Where do they find it? They get to a group, they get empowered, they win. A couple wants to get a divorce. It's because they're not seeing each other eye to eye. Somehow they're missing it. When they go to counseling or they get guidance, then they get empowered to activate empathy, understanding, compassion. Next thing
Yeah.
you know, they're staying together. So as an empowerment artist, my goal is empower people to find that light switch. Boom, boom.
Yes, I like the illustration. That's good stuff, man. So let me ask you this. So with everything you got going on with the company and like you've done so many things, right, in your life. I mean, you've got so many things under your belt. For a lot of folks, life is kind of copy, paste, repeat. It's, wake up, go to work, come home, go to sleep, do the same thing. And some people want to branch out and do something different, but they're just, it's like, how do I do that? How do I shift to something new? And for somebody like you, who every season it's something new. Every time I see you, you got a new project, and it's like not something small, it's something grand and great. And we're going to touch base on your newest project here in a little bit, and that's just amazing that you're doing that. But what could you say to folks that want to branch out and do those things when they face the same challenges? Like you're a husband, you're a father, you got kids that want daddy time, a wife that needs time, attention, watering. How do you find the
Yeah.
energy? How do you make that commitment to
Mm.
say, because when you do something new, it takes more effort than doing the
Yeah.
same thing over and over again, right? It's so much more energy. So
Absolutely.
what could you say to folks that say, how do I jump out of there and do those things? And where do I find the energy? How do I keep that going and still balance, work life and that whole thing?
Man, that's such a great question. That's the number one. And like if humanity had a family feud, like bing bing bing, number one answer is
Yeah.
what is the number one answer to keep us from losing our freaking mind and actually going after our goals and dreams? And the number one answer, the number one thing you can do is get still. Like number
Mm,
one, first thing you do, just get still. Like, and what the stillness does is it actually stabilizes your thinking, your perception, your contemplation, everything is stabilized. Because you have 70,000 thoughts a day. 70,000 thoughts, 70 to 90,000 thoughts a day. It means they measure the brain. Whenever you have a thought, it lights up. And so they measured how many times. So if you want to do something, especially extraordinary, you got to first get still. When you get still, that'll give you time. We'll call it meditation. Okay. That stillness will allow, now, once you get still, whatever the things is that you're looking to do, you put it down on paper. Somehow you put it down because Now you're still, and now you have the goal. And if you do it this way, step by step by step, every day, you'll actually get closer. If you don't do it this way, you may get overwhelmed, and overwhelmment causes procrastination, which causes nothing to happen. But getting still, writing the goal, and then writing down the top three things you can do to move towards it. Joshua, look, it doesn't, like, it's not more complex than that. It's as simple as getting still, getting laser focused on what the goal is going to be, and then deciding through deep contemplation, research, whatever's necessary, what the top three next steps are. And you know what you've done when you do this? You move
Yeah,
closer to your goal.
yeah. Even like you said, as you start to write down the thoughts that you have, each one of those things are kind of like building blocks when you're building a house. Every
Mm-hmm.
thought towards that is a building block. When you do the research, it might seem like you've not made any progress, but the fact that you took time to do the research, that's another building block. It's adding into
Yeah.
that. It's loading up that container, right? And it's
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
forward. And so even if we don't have time to, like, how do I start the business? How do I do that when I have to work? Well, at night before you go to bed, get a book to read about the thing you're trying to do, or spend some time online and just Googling and searching, getting that
Mm-hmm.
data there. Um, I have a
Yeah.
friend. She used to work as a nurse, as a nursing assistant. She did it for years. And it wasn't that she hated her job, she just didn't like the life that it gave her. Like it was limited income and so on and so forth. And after you do something for so long, it just kind of becomes, just bored. It's repetition. It's not challenging
Mm-hmm.
you.
Redundant.
And so she had heard that, there's more money to be made in IT field. IT is nowhere near nursing. It's totally different. But she
Mm-hmm.
said, hey, I got to take care of my family. I want to give my family a better life. And man, I heard this kind of money's out there. So she went, and I would say in a matter of a couple months, she took training, got licensed, got a new job, and it's crazy, man. This is like in this year, like in 6 months' time, she went from probably making 40,000 to a job offer for $150,000,
Whoa.
and changed her
Okay.
life, changed her field, changed her
Okay.
life. Did it really quickly, and just
Yeah.
really impressive. Motivated
Amazing.
me hearing that story, But it took her to say, what does it take? She got the training, took one day at a time. That's what I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Even as I'm learning, I have things that I'm learning, and I might have a plan to do it in 2 months. But I don't try to make that like a hard fast thing. That's where I want to
Mm-hmm.
go. As long as I take a step every day, I'm still moving forward, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
hit it even if it takes me 3 months. It's under my belt now. Now I have that training. Now I know fluent Japanese. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
a year ago. Now I
Mm-hmm.
can speak Japanese. Like so, you got to
Yeah.
take those steps, progress as it comes. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, man. It's the law.
Yeah.
It's the way, you have the law of attraction, you have the law of gravity, you know, what goes up must come down.
Yes,
You
sir.
have the law of incremental growth. And that's what this is. The law of incremental growth means that every little thing that you do, if you do it consistently, it will inevitably grow. So if
Mm-hmm.
you do something specifically towards the direction of the goal that you desire, you will inevitably get there. The difficulty is this: most of the world really wants a pour water and stir situation, like kind of like shake it in the bag and then get it kind of idea. And life just doesn't work that way. Anything you can shake it in the bag and get, trust me, you don't want. Anything you can pour water and stir and get, it won't last. Everything that lasts, it takes some type of effort and time, especially if it's a big dream. So,
Yeah.
stay on it. And just to clarify, what stillness means is going somewhere, taking a walk, going to the beach, walking in the woods, getting alone, and just having nothing happen besides one thing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing. And
Yeah.
it's the essence of that one thing begins to then train your mind. And as you're focusing on that one thing, other thoughts are going to come in because that's what they do. But you are then going to just lightly move those thoughts, let them slide on through, and stay focused where you were. That's stillness. It's a practice. Most people don't want to do that. Like that's why we veg out on Netflix and everything else to try and keep ourselves stimulated. What I'm saying is to really maximize your full potentiality, you got
Mm-hmm.
to turn the stimulation off, and then you can really be fully stimulated. It's really amazing. But yep.
Yeah. And you said something good there. Turn the stimulation off. We have things that are triggering our mind through, you know, auditory or by what we see image wise. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not where it's coming from the inside, it's coming from the outside. So they're stimulating our mind from the outside. But what we need to hear is the thoughts that come from the inside. We need to let our mind actually start to do something and kind of flower. And we don't do that because we're so used to just having interaction from external. We forget about the internal. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
really everything that we see in our world comes from something that was inside somebody. You know, our TVs, our
Yeah.
couches, things. Somebody said, here's the problem, but they went inside themselves to find that solution. A lot of
Yep.
times we look for help on the outside. We look for somebody else or something
Mm.
else to make a difference. You know, we're looking for the government to give us a stimulus check. We're looking for somebody to find a cure for COVID. Like we're looking for all these things
Man.
that's outside of ourselves when really truly the real power we have, each and every one of us have this power. It's on the inside.
On the
And we don't really know
inside.
how to connect with that inside. And that's where the
Man.
brokenness is. So we don't find, you know, it's like we feel like there's always a gap, you know, it's in this bridging that gap from the inside and the outside, but it's really just, you know, taking time, like you said, getting still, blocking out those things, because those things can really, we call them distractions, but it's more than that, you know. And so we really
Yeah.
just need to take and eliminate those things so we can have more of something else. A cup can only hold so much,
Yeah.
you know. Before you can fill it up again, you got to empty it out to get
Gotta
something
empty it
more.
out. Man, I like that, dude. I like that. You gotta look on the inside. You can't look on the outside. You know,
Yeah.
'cause it's funny. I heard Dr. Wayne Dyer tell a story about that. You know, some years ago, he said, you know, a guy was in a house and he dropped his keys, and it was in the dark. He dropped his keys,
Hmm.
and it was dark in there. And he said, he went down, started looking for him, couldn't find him. Then he looked outside. He saw the street lights were on outside. So he said, let me go outside, since there's light out there, and find my keys. So he goes out there under the street light and starts looking for his keys. His neighbor sees him. Comes out, says, what are you doing? What you looking for?
Yeah.
He said, I'm looking for my keys. So the neighbor starts looking for the keys, and people coming out. Everyone's looking for the keys. Everyone's coming out and they're helping him. And then
Yeah.
someone's like, well, where did you drop the keys? And he says, well, I dropped them in the house. He says, but I'm not, but there's light out here, so I'm looking. They're like, if you drop the keys in the house, why are you out here? Why are you looking for the solution out here when it's inside? We do the
Right.
same thing. It's on the inside, but we're looking out like it's really there. Like we're really gonna get the answer from somewhere else. It's gonna come from within, just like those
Yeah.
keys. Feel me?
Yeah. Well, see, in the world, you can see that very easily. You can see everything outside of you very easily. It's sometimes hard to look inside. And sometimes inside is a dark place and you don't want to be there, you know, but we have to go there because that's where it's at. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll never use these again. These are the worst headphones that Sony could have ever came out with. I don't understand what this is about. Like,
I don't know what
because
it is.
these are
It's
the speakers, right? But it's like some kind of balancing act. What the heck are you doing right now? I don't
yeah, it's
know.
terrible. Yeah. So
Uh,
folks, what we're gonna do now is let me see, it's getting close. Yeah, so we're about 20 minutes in. Again, what we want to do is we want to make sure that this is an opportunity for people watching to join in. We got a little bit of comments coming through the chat, which I appreciate you guys for that. But what we want to do is we want to let folks actually come in and join. And so it's really easy. If you go to patreon.com and you sign up, you can join in. What's that going to do? That's gonna give you a link to be able to come in here live with your video camera. So we can see your face. You can ask a question, join in the discussion, share your thoughts, insights, whatever you want to do. It's going to give you a lot more than that, though. It's going to also allow you to join the after show. We're going to be doing more conversation in Discord. And so you can join that in chat. And it's also going to give you access to my guest here, Rob House. He's going to give us another hour of his time later on in the week. And we're going to have a conversation, just again, sharing and building on the things we're talking about today and even more things. As you can see, this man has a wealth of information. So what we want to do is encourage folks to do that. And so, even if you're not able to see the show live today, as you're watching this on the recast, you can still go to right here, sign up, patreon.com/the current conversation, and gain access to that conversation coming up later on this week, and also next week's show. You'll be able to join right in and be able to drop in with your camera. So, we want to make sure that folks have the opportunity to do so, because this is a show about the community. It's not just for me and my guests to kind of speak out into your ears for you guys to share with us. Everybody's got something they're going through. Everybody's got something they're challenged with, and it might not be money, it might not be finances. It might be that your child is just acting some sort of kind of way. And not that we have all the answers, but collectively as a community we'll have the answers. So you can come on the show and ask a question that maybe my guest and we don't know the answer, but another watcher may know the answer, and they say, "Hey, I want to join in." They come right in and say, "Hey, to speak to Joe's point, this, and that," and that's what we're here to service our community, and everyone is our community. The whole world, the whole globe is our community. We're all family. We're all united here. And if nothing else, that COVID-19 has spread across the globe to show us just how unified we all are. We're all affected. We all have folks that are going through some sort of difficulty because of that. Some people's difficulty is just being locked in the house with their kids all day. That's difficult.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's the most
yeah,
difficult thing.
yeah. It's
Kids are kind of
top of the charts right
hyper.
there.
Yes, sir. But so we want to give folks a chance to do that. So again, just sign up right here, and you can join in. The link's going to be provided to Patreon only. So we just want to give folks a chance to do that. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with my guest host, Mr. Rob Howze. And so don't go anywhere. In the meantime, tell a friend, tell everybody that the current conversation is going down, and tell them how much fun we're having already. And we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks. Thank you for joining us. If you just tuned in, I'm your host, Joshua Christos. I'm here with my guest, Mr. Rob Howze. And we're just talking about all things, really: money, business, family, life, you name it. And I just want to reiterate that this show is really about you, the community. So if you guys want to join into the conversation, you're more than welcome to chat with us. You can send us a chat message, which we can see those. But we also want you guys to actually be a part of the show. We want you to join in right here with your web cameras. Go to patreon.com/current conversation and become a member. And that's going to give you access to the link so you can join right in with your camera and share your questions, your insight, your feedback right here on the show. And that's really what this show is all about. It's about the community. But while we wait for folks that pose some questions or whatever, Mr. Howze, I want to ask you another question, if I may. So we talked about some of the things you've done in your life and things that you've accomplished. But let's talk about this new project that you got coming up, or I guess you kind of already started it, and it's kind of gaining some speed. You're working with a congresswoman or a woman running for Congress. You're doing her campaign management. I mean, that's just exciting stuff. I don't know that I could ever tackle something like that, but you're the guy that will just. There's nothing you can't achieve. There's nothing you're afraid to try to accomplish. Tell me a little bit more about that, and what got you going with that, and where's that leading to?
Yep. So Alex Spencer, she is running for the second House of Representatives, second seat of Oregon, and no, she won.
1 second, not to interrupt you, but wait a second. You're what state are you in?
I am in Maryland.
You're in Maryland, and she's running for office in Oregon.
Yeah.
That's what to bring that up. So tell me about how's that working. Tell me about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beauty of the internet, man. That's the
Yeah.
beauty. That's why humanity's going somewhere and going somewhere quickly. And so, Alex Spencer, we met on LinkedIn a couple years ago. She mentioned about a year ago she was running. I said, do your thing. I helped her put together, well, not put together, but I served as her performance coach then, and she would write a speech and deliver it, and I would give her, just critique, the style and delivery, and she was fantastic. Well, then she won the primary. She got 120,000 votes, and
Wow.
she reached out to me, and I just started helping her, bring people together. And that's one of my strengths is, leadership.
Absolutely, I agree.
Even
Yeah.
even if I don't know all the technical information, what I'm really good at is understanding what the goals are and figuring out what those things necessary to do are, and then filling the gaps, whether it be contract someone out, learn it yourself, whatever needs to happen. That's essentially what it is. As we said earlier, pick the top three things and then move forward. But so that's exciting because what I thought about is like, what's more important than having good people in Congress right now?
Yeah.
Congress, the United States of America, as everyone knows, is was built off something that no one's really that proud of. Now, you know, you got 400 years of free labor. This is what accelerated us as the leaders on the planet. So there are benefits to, some of the disgust that happened. But now that we're here in 2020, people want something new. They want something fresh. They want real people. They don't want just politics and policies and tell me what you're going to do. They want folks that actually care about them, who are people who care about people. And I was like, okay, I'm really feeling what she's doing. So before you know it, I became a communications director. And so now her performance coach, a communications director, and really just an overall like I'm just really part of the core intelligence of this campaign. We still got a lot of roles to fill, a long ways to go, a lot of money to raise, but the potentiality is tremendous. The potentiality is tremendous because in that position of leadership, that type of influence, and where we are as a people in this world, like we can make a tremendous impact and a difference. Because legislation is what carves the culture. The legislation carves and creates the culture. Now you
Yeah.
can't legislate love, right? You can't make people love each other, but you can put legislation in place that's just. And when you do this and you demand justice and equality in all sectors, you start to get a new world. You start to get a world full of people with empathy, compassion, right? Integrity. What about
Yeah.
those attributes, Joshua? What about a world led by people? Not saying we all don't have sins and faults and you know what I mean, but if you have integrity, humility, right? Compassion,
Yeah.
we can do anything. And so I say all that to say, I believe in her because she believes in that. Yeah, and that's one of the other things that I'm doing. I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm not doing a whole lot right now, but they're just very deep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just deep right now, like deep and like wide, because the importance. But I've been praying that prayer, Jabez. I prayed it with my son for a couple years, and my wife and I just started praying it. And I think it's the shortest passage in the Bible, just about one of the shortest, but one of the most impactful. And Jabez, which means bore out of pain, like born out of pain. Jabez is like
Yeah.
born out of
Right.
pain.
Right.
Uh, what the prayer is, Lord, bless me, bless me, bring the blessings, bring it, I'm ready. Expand my territory. That means expand my possibilities, expand my impact, expand my influence, expand the blessings. Let your hand be with me. So as the expansion is happening, his hand is guiding. You got that guidance, you got that discernment. Let your hand be with me. Keep me
Mm-hmm.
from evil. Now, that keep me from evil is a big one because evil could be the evil from others or the evil from your own doing. Sometimes it's your own doing that
Yeah.
creates the discomfort. Keep me from evil. So keep me from evil so I may not cause pain. I mean, I don't feel pain, I don't get hurt, and I don't hurt anybody else. So Lord, bless me, expand my territory, let your hand be with me, keep me from evil so I do not cause pain. I just keep praying that thing. And we keep doing that, we're gonna be good.
Yeah, man. So I'm looking over here at the at our chats, and it sounds like what we're talking about. Folks are kind of resonating with them, and I want to say this, man. Talking about politics, people say often try to avoid politics and religion, like those two conversations. But I think that those things are the things that we need to have a lot of dialogue about because the politics are, what kind of rules our life, because politicians set our laws up and, how our money works, taxes, and all these other things, and what gets built, what doesn't get built. That's very much a key to your everyday. And then religion also should be something because, a lot of folks, you can go anywhere. Somebody has some kind of belief.
Hmm.
Let's say there's even a guy who says, well, I don't believe in anything. I say, okay, you don't believe in anything. That's fine. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I shouldn't believe in anything either. Can you tell me more about that? Like, what does that mean? And as they start to
Hmm.
explain, I don't believe in anything, and this, they're telling you what they do believe. So see right
Hmm.
there, you actually do believe in something. You believe in
Hmm.
that, as you just described. You believe in something, and see that's the thing. Like Why does he have to believe in something, even if it's believing in nothing? Why does somebody have to be believing in Buddhist or Judah or whatever they believe in? Because it's in us to believe. It's innate in us to believe something, to believe in
Mhm.
something, even if it's to say I
Mhm.
don't believe in nothing. You have a belief system and a structure. The second thing is we all have a need to be connected.
Yes.
Nobody wants to be alone, right? Nobody wants to be
Right.
alone. We all need to be connected, and so
Mhm.
that's into us as well. And so if we have a desire or just an innate thing that drives us to be connected and to believe in something, that's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason for that, right? And so, anyways,
Mhm.
I say that to say the things that connect us the most are religion. They should, and and even our politics, because everybody's going to be submissive to that law, that rule of law, that rule of the nation, wherever they are. If we go to Israel, it's a different rules set of rules. We go to Africa, wherever we go, and that's because of the people that are in place, that are the political. Even the king, it's political. It's the politics. It's the measure of things and how they go in the system of flow. So I think we need to have more dialogue about those things. I think we should take more interest in those things, and really just not so much to kind of prove who's right or wrong about either one of those, religion or politics, but just more so to be able to share with each other what we think and how we feel, because you're entitled to your opinion, I'm entitled to
Mhm.
my opinion, but the fact that we both have opinions is where we come in commonality, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fact that we have that, fact that we believe something, that's common ground. Let's start looking at the
Yeah.
common ground versus all the things that are separating us. What do we have in common? Pretty soon we start to find more things in common and less things that are opposed, and then that's a
Yep.
better ground for us to kind of start to share the things that we
Oh my
might not
goodness.
see eye to eye with. But we're not
What?
going there. We're so quick to say, "Oh, I vote for, Trump. Oh, I like Joe Biden," and then we just quickly show separation. Well, I'm a Christian. I'm a Muslim. This and that. Well, let me ask you something, Mr. Christian or Mr. Muslim. Do you have dinner at night? Yeah. Do you? Okay. What type of food do you eat? Well, I like to eat that too. Oh, wow, you got that in common. Let's get there and start having conversation, dialogue. But I like what you're doing, man. I love that you're trying to change your environment and you got back behind somebody. And the fact that if you're backing them, that's because you put thought into it. This person's going to be an advocate for change, because that's what you're trying to produce is change. That's just amazing that you're taking it to that level where you're like, hey, I'll work on your campaign. And at the start of the show, you said, I got this company, we're doing all these things. That's enough workload on itself. But I also mentioned you were a father and a husband, and those are workloads as well. But you're
My
willing to take
favorite
that on,
job right there. Yeah.
yeah, because you want to see the change impact in other people's lives. So, man, just kudos for that, and I just definitely respect that in you, man. And
Appreciate
but
it,
so
brother.
yeah, so getting back to the show real quick, and I just want to make sure. Let me see, because we're now about halfway through the show, and I just want folks to remember that this show is about community. As we're talking about community, and my brother here making an impact on the community as best as he can, we want to make sure that you guys join this community. So go to www.patreon.com/ the current conversation, sign up and join. And when you do that, there's going to be an availability for a link that you can click, and you can come right in on this live stream. Now I know you guys, you don't have to have a camera, or I'm sorry, you don't have to have a PC or a high-end laptop. You can do this right on your phone. When you get that link, you click it, no matter what phone you're on or iPad or whatever, and you can join right now in this conversation and ask questions, offer insight. We love to hear from you because this is a community show. So we want to make sure that you go in, sign up right here, and join us there. It's also going to give you access to the after show conversation on Discord. And again, we're going to have another conversation. Me and my brother here are going to talk again later on in the week for another hour, and we want you guys to be a part of that. So sign up here, and that's also going to give you access to the next week's show. The next week's show, we're going to be here every Thursday at 8 o'clock with a different guest. This week, my guest is Mr. Rob Howze. Next week, we're gonna have a very special guest. I'm not gonna disclose that now. It's a super secret special guest, but you're gonna definitely want to tune in for that. But make sure you go in there, register, and sign up and join this conversation. But my brother, now I want you to share with us, if you can. Uh, I'm reading these comments, and so I see folks. Somebody said, "I believe in God, but not much with the government. I don't believe into politics too much." What are your thoughts on this current politics right now with Donald Trump, and we got Joe Biden coming in, and what are your thoughts on that?
Listen, politics has been the same as it always has been.
Yeah,
It's what you call a duopoly. Duopoly. Monopoly is when one thing is running
duopoly.
everything. A duopoly is when you got two parties that run the whole thing. Two parties run the whole thing, but it's kind of all one thing, and it's kind of all been leaning one way.
Yeah.
But what has happened is with this George Floyd unfortunate scenario where there is unfortunates, God can turn what was meant for bad for good. And what
Mm-hmm.
God has done is during this time, not only did Brother Floyd's life not go in vain, but everyone was home because of COVID. Everyone was here and they watched for minutes and minutes and minutes as the life left this man's body. People
So
were
tragic.
appalled.
Yeah, absolutely.
People were appalled. White people were appalled. I mean, genuinely.
Yeah.
People, this woke everyone up so much. All of a sudden, now the Confederate flag is gone. Now all of a sudden, people are being removed from office. Now, if you are a known racist, you are not tolerated. It's like this has finally happened. I mean, I don't know why it didn't happen last year or 10 years ago or 50 years ago, but that's fine. We're here now. I know why it happened now because everyone saw. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because now is the time. Now is the time for change. Now is the time to start that organization, that initiative. Now is the time to build your community, to start that church. Now is the time to pour positivity into your children and your neighbors. And politics. Now is the time to vote. I've
Mm-hmm.
never been involved in politics. I have voted for presidents. I voted for Barack Obama. Woohoo! You better believe that, baby. You know, I did not vote for Trump. Okay, I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. And I wasn't really that excited about all the candidates. I was obviously least excited about him. I'm not excited about anybody who I don't feel like loves people. It's just that's me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. You can live your life how you want, but I think if you're gonna lead, you should like people. I think that should be a qualification. Like everyone, take a look at this guy or girl. Do they like people? Okay,
Yeah.
listen to the sound bites. Is this a person you would say likes people? If the answer is like we're not sure, then no, they should not be leading, and they definitely should be president. But what I think about politics right now, I feel as if this November is probably the most important vote of the history of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, this vote is the most important vote in the history. Now, back in the days, it was a big vote. When McKinley and what was it? When President McKinley came in office, that was a really big movement right then. It was a real big one. It was him versus Roosevelt, and McKinley won, but he won because all these guys dropped all this money in it, and that's how they were able to for the monopolies to last longer. Like Carnegie and all those guys had those monopolies. That was a big time. But then
Yeah.
McKinley got killed, and then Roosevelt came into office, and then he lightened everything up. And so that was actually big for people because then you start having real regulations and rules that allow people to get the wages they really needed and get treated right. This election, though, this election is bigger than any election because number one, we got more at stake, right? There's more at stake right now. This is the first time in the history of mankind that the whole world has been shut down.
It's
There's
so
never
much
been
at
a
stake right now.
global
Yeah, absolutely.
so much, and every decision is super important. I mean, if you tell people, yeah, don't wear masks, don't worry about it, but by that gesture, that is infecting and spreading the infection and killing people, that's not good. We can't have people in leadership that are not looking after the people. So it's important that you vote. You got to spend some time, even though you may not like politics. You got to see who's running. You see who's running, and listen to what they're saying. And if it's whack, don't vote for them. Because what happens is,
Right. Yeah, it should be that simple, right? Yeah.
it's right. What happens is people get in office, and then there's certain bills that we want to pass, and the bill becomes a law once it goes past the House and the Senate. But those bills won't get moved by people who don't care about the bill.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the bill. Like take a look at the civil rights bill. Go look at it and see who supports that. If they don't support that,
Well, they don't
don't
because
vote
they
for
don't
them.
they don't support people. They don't care about people, or they just care about. They do care about people, but the only people they care about are the people they see every day, and it's not. And they
That's it.
serve a greater population, right?
That's it. That's
So
it.
we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have somebody that's going to join us with some questions. We got a couple of people sitting in the green room backstage, so we're going to let them in and ask some questions. And we also want to make sure that we reach these chats too. I see a couple of folks with some questions. One of them's asking, "What or who keeps you motivated to keep pushing through your goals ahead?" So we want to answer those questions there. And big shout out to Kanye running for president. Hopefully he makes it. Anyways, we're gonna be right back after this quick message, and yeah, so don't go anywhere and keep it locked. You guys are, you know where you are. This is the current conversation. Tell a friend that it's going and it's happening right now. I don't know what happened there. So joining us now, we're gonna bring him into the stream. This is well, you know, this man. Let me see, who is this now? This is Coach Jalil. He's going to be joining us now. He's got a question, and we're going to bring him in and see what his question might be.
Hey,
Jalil, thank you for joining us. Can you hear me?
What's up, Coach?
Hey, what's going on? Am I coming in clear?
Yeah, we heard you, but you just dropped out. We lost your video feed. Can you hear me now?
Oh,
is he
All
back?
right.
There he is.
yeah.
Am I coming in clear? Can you guys
You're
hear
coming in clear. Jalil, tell us where you're from and what's your question.
Okay, so I am a Washingtonian. I am from the Maryland, D.C., DMV area.
DMV.
Yeah.
DMV.
So, man, one question that I wanted to ask you, it seems like you have so much experience. You have so much knowledge. And me being a vet at what I do as a coach and having different clients and all that, I know the difficulties we run into, even when it comes to running companies and starting something, ending something, starting something else, because we are visionaries. So my question is, what advice can you give a person that has tried so many things because they got the vision of it, but the provision just didn't manifest? And
that's good.
They may be stuck. They may want to give up, or it may be their season right now, but they have no more fizz to give, so they miss it. Well, my goal for you is to help somebody not miss their season, because the door is open for somebody, but they're so tired from it not the last 5, 10, 20 years that they can't even see it. The door is open right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good stuff. And, you know, I think a lot of folks find themselves there. Rather, even if you've had success in the past, or if this is your first time trying to really press yourself to see where you can go, you know, it's almost like the world is set up against you for you to fail. It's such a barrier to break through. But as we talked about earlier in the show, that barrier is really just what's inside of you. You know, it's the voice in your head saying, making all these excuses. You can't do this. You can't do that. Or that's never going to work. Or, well, you tried that, but see how that didn't work out. And it's trying to always bring you down. What I found recently, I learned that the thing that I make the most excuses for is the thing that I really need to press the hardest towards. The fact that I'm making so many excuses for it is because it's the thing that I really, really, really need the most. And for some of us, that could be, you know, earning more money. It could be losing weight, whatever that thing is. And it was to a point where I said, if I don't take this challenge seriously, I'm really saying I don't take myself seriously. A lot of folks don't take themselves seriously. You know, they're not really considering the cost that it requires to make that transition. And they think it's going to be easy, and they think it's all these things, but it's like, how much do you value you? How much do you value the life that you live now and the life that you could be living? Are the people that are connected to you, how much do you value them? That value should be able to give you strength to do the thing you need to do. But again, that voice is in our head, and we'll go along with it, making more excuses like, well, I'm tired today. Well, I'm this. But if you just press for 1 second, that's all you need to do. That thought only lasts a second. You just need to overcome it for that 1 second, and then you're on a whole nother train, on a whole nother, movement there, momentum. And so now I look at those challenges and I say, you know, I can't. I'm excited when I find those times where I'm hesitant, because then I get to show my true strength in going past that, and I feel that you get that serotonin burst, that boost of I did it, even though it's a small success of I didn't let the the no in my head tell me to stop. I passed that. That's a
Mm-hmm.
victory, and I
Yeah,
celebrate the small victories.
got to.
So I look forward to those things. Absolutely.
Big. And I tell you, probably, Jaleel, the biggest thing for me that really helped me is, cutting back on the distractions. You
Mm,
know, we only have so much energy in a day. We all have so much energy. Now, some have more than others, depending on how much you exercise and how much you eat and what you don't eat and do eat. But at the end of the day, you only got so much. And so if you're spending the energy doing multiple things that aren't really bringing you the core value you're looking for, maybe you need to reallocate your energy. And what will happen is a lot of people run out on their dreams and like they run out of energy to complete it because they just don't have enough. They do have the other responsibilities. They got their family. They have everything else pulling at them while they're saying yes to everything else. What started helping me is when I learned how to start saying no to
yeah.
things, you know, and that no gave me the space to be able to say yes to things that are really important. And so, like what Joshua said is super valid. And then I would also add carving that space out by removing and eliminating distractions. That takes an assessment of life. It's kind of reflecting on what the daily activities are and then projecting what the daily activities need to be and then doing them. You feel me? Like I said, we're getting it done. And the reason I'm going to do them because by doing this, I accomplish my why, which is let see my family smile and everyone else around them. You know,
Mm,
whatever your why is. But
right.
yep, yep, yep.
Yeah. So my second question, my last question is, do you find it difficult to be fully immersed in something? So here's the thing. A lot of times when we have a few things that we're working on or that we're building, it's getting percentages of us. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes a thing, especially in the infancy state in the beginning, it requires us to be fully immersed in it
Mm-hmm.
to a place of momentum. Uh,
Mm.
do you find yourself fully immersed in any of your endeavors, or is it kind of just spread it amongst percentages amongst this one, and this one?
Mm. That's very good, man. I have three things right now. I have my company, I have the campaign, Spectre 2020 campaign working on, and then I have my personal development. And then in personal development, I have some things that I do in that. It's a regimen, but those are three things that I spend my energy on, and I have my days sectioned by the hour of what I'm working on within that hour, even if it's just family. Even I have everything scheduled, everything is documented. So then when I open my book up, and I understand what I have to do, and it's very clear. It's very clear line by line what it is. And what that does is not only does it clear me and allow me to be completely focused on what I'm doing,
Mm,
but it allows me to be, it's harder for distractions to come and get me because I have something that I'm following. And
mm,
so although I have three things that have my attention, I'm fully focused on one at a time, and I'm
wow,
committed to this. Like
wow.
I'm committed, like Bruce Lee, like a Bruce Lee monk, Buddhist ninja wizard. You hear me? Like I
Yes, sir.
because I understand how important it is, and I've looked at my life and the productivity by doing it this way, and I looked at my life when I wasn't doing it this way, and it's not even the same. I'm also 45 now, so I've learned a little bit, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and if I could just add a couple of things, just really quickly, looking over here at the chats, I see, some folks are adding, you keep yourself accountable. That's great advice. You have to keep yourself accountable. If you don't, no one else will. And
hmm
also that folks from outside of you can be the ones that's causing you the most grief, telling you you can't do this or tugging and pulling on you. And for some of us, that's children, right? Kids not telling us, they're not telling us we can't do it, but they're the thing that we value sometimes most in life. Like we do it for our kids, right? But so then when they
hmm
call and they tug and they pull, you're quick to go and say, well, let me tend to that need and let me do what I need to do. And because we love them, right? We love them so much. But even with that, you have to find a way of delegating it. As parents, we need to make sure that the other parent, and some of us don't have another parent, some of us are single moms, single dads, which is very challenging. But there has to be a space that you can carve out for yourself so that you can have that time to focus on something else, because you'll never be able to
Mm-hmm.
put 100% into one thing if you're spread across so many things, and
Yep.
that's what we do. We try to say, I'm going to dissect and give a little bit here, but I'm multitasking. There's no such thing as multitasking, because
Multitasking is focused suicide.
it's focused suicide. Yeah,
We
you're
call
never
it.
going to be able to do those two things at once. You think you are, but
Yeah.
you're missing something in that loop. So you really need to give your
Mm-hmm.
focus, laser focus, to that one
Yeah.
thing. I love what you said, Rob. Just, I'm doing this thing and I'm 100% involved in that. One thing I want to kind of add in there is really quickly this too. So, somebody told me that they read a book from, Aristotle, and it taught them this thing that was good for life. I'm like, hey, I'm glad you taught me that. I'm always looking for something that's instructional that can help me out. One thing that you showed as illustrated, and this is where I got the information. That's why I'm presenting that. But in the scriptures, in the Bible, it says to write the vision and make it plain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good piece of knowledge. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
thing to do. And that's what you did. You wrote the vision out and you made it plain to yourself so you can go back and reference it. And just to kind of a bigger instruction for that, not to get too much into religious teachings, but um, in religion there, in let's say Christianity, even in the Old Testament, we find that there's references to, before the Old Testament, God had chosen Sumerians first, and they did a lot of conversation, a lot of talking. That's how they transferred information, by oral transmission. So they would tell
Mm-hmm.
stories to grandkids and so on and forth and so on and forth and so on and forth. If you've ever played that game telephone where you whisper in somebody's ear, by the time it gets back around to you, it's a different thing that you've heard.
Oh, another thing. Yeah.
So what happens is this: is as a people, if we keep talking about something, and all we do is talk and talk and talk, well, we're even going to change it. The next time I talk to somebody, I add something to it, and it's still me, the same source, but I add something to it the next time. And I keep changing my vision. I change my story. I change what I've accomplished or what I failed to succeed in. What I started with is not the same vision I have 6 months from now if I'm just talking about it. Well, the next level he did was he said, I left the Sumerians alone. I went to be with the Jews, the Israels, right? Israel. And I had them write it down in stone. Now it can't be changed. You can't lose it because you're talking about now it's going to be set in stone. You can't change it. But what happened with them was they had it in stone. But as what we do as humans, we like to change things a little bit. We like to bend rules, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
you say, you shouldn't lie. But we say, I said, does this make me look fat? I say, nah, baby, nothing can make you look fat. But she's 9 months pregnant. So, that, or I say,
Yeah.
you say a little white lie, right? And you say, well, I bend the truth a little bit. That's what we call it bending the rules. Well, that doesn't work, right? It doesn't work because you're changing it. You have to, like I said, the chat said you have to keep yourself accountable, right? So it's written
Mm-hmm.
down. You go back to that, and that's your refresher. It doesn't change. We can go back to the scriptures. We can go back to those words that don't change, even though we read it and we go off and we change it in our mind, or we go back and talk about it differently. We change it in the way we talk. It's written down so we can keep going back to it and see that frame of reference. And that's just a good in stone to show that if it's all talk, if everything you're doing is all talk, what I'm going to do, what I'm about to do, what I've done, there's really nothing to it, right? It's futile. That's why he moved on from the Sumerians and he picked up Israel, because what they did, there wasn't no stability, there was no foundation, there was nothing there. And so just to use that as an illustration, I love to use illustrations, so that's why I go there. But we have to do the same thing. We need to write things down. We need to keep a reference. I love what you said, making your schedule. That's another very good key that I found, is if you label out your day, right? That's a way of keeping track, because you're starting to think it's 8:00. I got to do this. I got this to do at 9. If you're just kind of freestyling, it's kind of like conversation where it's just off the cuff, but there's nothing that's keeping you in alignment. There's no accountability. There's no structure or form to what you're doing. You got to have structure and form. The first thing you do when you build a house is you build a foundation that gives you the structure and the form. So those things are very key. And no matter what endeavor you're doing, rather if it's starting a new business, rather if it's preparing for a family or raising a family, or moving to a new location, all those things need some sort of foundation preparation. Write the vision out, make it plain.
Man, 1 minute of preparation to save you 20 minutes of production. 1 minute of
Yeah.
preparation to save you 20 minutes of production. That's an amazing phenomenon. Like, what that shows you how important planning is and how good it will be. Abraham Lincoln said, "If you give me 6 hours," well, he said, "if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first four sharpening my
Sharpening.
axe."
Yes, right.
All right. He's spending
Preparation.
twice as much time in preparation as execution. And what good is hitting a tree with a dull axe? But how fast will that tree come down with a sharp axe? And so, how more effective will you be if you plan out your day? How more effective, how much less stress will you have when you know what you're doing and you don't just float into whatever is gonna come next?
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing thing for your well-being.
Okay. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
Jalil, we want to say thank you for joining us. Those were great questions.
Yeah,
And
man.
I want to thank all of my
Appreciate you,
guests,
bro.
all of our viewers that came in today. And we're almost at the end of our show. Before we go, I wanted to just give a quick little reminder that we'll be back here again next week. And it's same time, 8 o'clock on Thursday night. And I want to make sure that you guys get a chance to sign up. Go down to the link below and sign up at patreon.com/ the current conversation. So you can join in the conversation just like we had Coach Jalil join in today and ask your question live on the air with us. And this is good stuff because even though if some folks didn't make it to the live stream, this is going to be recast, and people are going to be able to watch this next week, next month, next year. And so these questions that we're posing, even though we're doing it in our chat, it's kind of hard for folks that are watching to kind of know what's going on. So we really encourage you guys to join the community, join the video. We want to see you. And as you can see, there's a better back and forth when you come in. So make sure you guys sign up there. um, we're going to continue the conversation on our Discord chat there. If you sign up at patreon.com, you can get access to that. We're also going to have another hour that we're going to give me, myself, and my guest, Rob Howze. He's going to join us later on this week, and you'll get that information inside your Patreon account there when you sign up. So if you want to join us there, make sure you sign up there. And just like to thank my guest, Rob Howze, again. And thank you, Jalil, for coming into the show. Um, so before we go, I want to just give you a second to give any final thoughts, Rob, and anything you might think that you want to share with the folks, and just some of the topics we talked about today. Anything that you might have to just kind of bring it home for everybody.
Yeah, I will. Um, I will. And what I'll do is do it by coming right here. See that?
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Someone was throwing this away.
Yeah.
Throwing this away. I said, yeah,
Wow.
really? I said, one man's trash, another man's treasure. And what I love about these two gentlemen, as a matter of fact, I have what is called my Wise 12. And
Uh-huh.
so I have 12 mentors. And I study one every single month. Got 12 months in a year. And you think about a big round table. These are my mentors. And the 12 starts with, to my right is Jesus Christ, who's a leader in my life. And then on the other side is Martin Luther King. Then I got Buddha. And then we have Gandhi. And then Mansa Musa, who was an amazing king of Africa. Albert Einstein, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jackson, Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and Eminem. Martin Luther King and Obama. My final words is this. These brothers had dreams. Everyone has a dream.
Yeah.
The only way your dream comes to fruition is if you take action.
Hmm.
And you're going to take action and people are going to backstab you. You're going to take action and people are going to lie to you. You're going to take action and you're going to make mistakes. You're going to take action and you're going to take losses. With every step you take, sometimes it's going to feel like you've taken 3 steps back. But it's the thing in the way essentially becomes the way. So look at every obstacle that you encounter, every brick that comes your way to try and stop you, use those bricks as stepping stones to your dream. These gentlemen encountered tremendous trials and tribulations. Every person who's ever done anything great has encountered trials and tribulations. I want you to know it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, if you have trials and tribulations, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
If you have people who are saying negative things about you, you must be doing something good. People only talk about stuff that they like. It's just like a secret thing. Like since they can't be a part of it, they want to try and poke holes at it. Let it come. Dreams come true with consistent action.
Mm.
And that's an amen.
That's it. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. That's it. That's my amen. It's my amen, man. Yeah, for sure.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I thank you for your time that you came out here and you gave some great insight, man. And I think we all kind of grew a little bit today, a couple inches, and thankful for that. I want to remind everybody that we'll be back here this same time next week. So make sure that you guys are tuning in and tell your friends. And we're going to have a very special guest next week. And this is going to be continued. We're going to keep doing this as long as it's possible to do. As long as electricity works and the internet works, we're going to keep doing this. And we're going to keep having new guests. And I'm sure Mr. Rob House will join us again, won't you?
You know it, man. I love sharing.
And so we want to make sure that folks get to connect with us. And anyways, just thank you all for watching. And until next time, keep up the conversation. And we'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thanks for watching.
Bing, bing.